Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David King.
I'm Fred Cilbrith.
And welcome to another edition of Keeping It Real. I want to start off the show by, as always, thanking our loyal fans who watch us weekly and nightly and been supportive of us. We very thank you. And matter of fact, right now we're going to continue opening the show with Fred with a couple announcements. Fred?
Well, guys, we have a email account, so you guys can email us what you want to see on the show, and anything you guys want to see, you can email us at the Keeping It Real TV show at gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page that you can search us on Facebook. It's when you do the keyword, the search, it's Keeping It Real TV. We also have a Twitter feed. The username is 13 Keeping It Real. And for those of you that can't watch on cable television, there is a YouTube page that we have, which if you type in Keeping It Real with David King, we are the 7th one down, I believe. And then you can click on the video, and then right below the video is our channel where you can subscribe.
And you can watch new episodes every Thursday of Keeping It Real, as well as old episodes every Tuesday that we have done in the past. So please, log on and give us your feedback and your comments and tell us what you think of us. With that said, tonight's show we're going to talk about sports. What better edition in sports? School's going to be getting ready before you know it, start back up, and you have sports going to be starting back up. Football season's going to be starting. Right. Basketball season will also be starting again.
Baseball season will go into the World Series.
I'm going to World Series. I don't want to worry about the NBA Finals and of course the Super Bowl. And I'm a giant Jets fan, so I'm hoping we do great things. But the reason why I want to talk about sports is because one of the biggest issues I have with sports is that how is it that athletes get paid a lot of money and always get into a bunch of crime? They live the American dream. They are worldwide athletes. They are the best players in the world, no matter what sport it is, rather that be hockey, basketball, football, soccer. And they get into a lot of trouble. And one of the things they get in trouble for is drug abuse, mainly steroids. Yep. I mean, we see it all over baseball.
Yeah.
It's been known all over baseball. Yeah. For drug addiction or drug abuse to, I guess, enhance the athlete or trying to make him a super athlete.
I mean, when it comes to baseball, last season with the New York Yankees, you had A-Rod who do steroids, and he got suspended for a season. They didn't let him back. Now, folks, if I was manager of the New York Yankees, if I was Joe Girardi, A-Rod, you'd be fired. You'd be done. I'm sorry, because if you do any sport at all, but especially baseball or football or any sport at all, if you do that sport and you take steroids, you're disgracing your sport.
Yeah, basically, you're disgracing all sports. And on top of that, these athletes have to understand that they are kids that look up to all these athletes as role models, exactly. as heroes. I know for me, I grew up a big basketball fan. One of my favorite basketball players I grew up, I'm of course Michael Jordan fan, but I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. Yeah. And the thing that, when I'm talking about sport athletes getting in trouble, Kobe Bryant and cheated on his wife. I mean, even though that's his own personal opinion, it sends the wrong message. Yeah. And then you try to buy your wife. You bought her this big ring. Right. Just because you're who you are. It's like, do athletes, I don't know, Fred, do you think athletes today, do they care more about the money or do they care about the sport?
They care more about the money.
But here's the thing. I'm going to go with the money.
When it comes to baseball, because I'm a baseball fan, and I'm not a big football fan, but I do like the New York Giants. But when it comes to baseball, the one guy that defines baseball as old-timers, as the guy that loves the game, is the recently retired captain of the New York Yankees, Derek Jeter. he's been the face in the New York Yankees for ages. Well, let's kick it back to 1990. What was it? 1992, 93 when O.J. Simpson went to court.
Oh, I mean, O.J. Simpson, if most people don't know, he was a football player before, he got into a lot of legal problems. But right. There you go. That's a good point. You go from being a professional football player to sitting in court, and it's so sad because your football legacy was killed by your trial legacy. Yeah. I mean, most people, if you ask them about O.J. Simpson, know more for being in court than they do from being on the gridiron. I think that's sad, but just like football players today, they get into so much illegal activity, guns, shooting themselves in the leg. I mean, I forgot the guy's name. He plays for the New York Giants, and he ends up shooting himself in the leg. And I'm going to ask you this.
I don't know who it is, but I know who you're talking about.
Exactly, but let me ask you this. You play professional football. Why would you – I understand, I guess, for protection, you want to carry a gun. Why? When you could have hire a bodyguard.
But why would you carry a gun and then proceed by accident to shoot yourself in the foot?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. And that's mostly because a lot of these athletes have bad past and bad backgrounds and everybody hates them or whatever. But it's like this. Why are athletes doing drugs? If you just work on your game, if you work hard at what you do, you could become a great player. Right. Recently, Tom Brady of the New England Patriots. Yeah. I don't know if you heard about that.
I think he got suspended for steroid use, was it?
I believe so. And they covered it up for a while, and the owners spoke out about it, I think day for yesterday on the news about it, and they're going to suspend Tom Brady for the first couple of games of the season.
So preseason games.
I know. I think they're gonna. I think it's for the regular the first 4 games of the regular season.
Wow.
He will not play with the New England Patriots. But I mean, they apologize to their fans, but But once again, you're a professional athlete. People look up to you, and on top of that, you're one of the well-known quarterbacks of the whole NFL. Rather you like the Patriots or you don't. And I know here in New England County, the New England Patriots are very popular.
Well, with the Giants, they went to the Super Bowl and kicked the Patriots in the butt twice.
Yes, but this is New England County.
I'm just saying.
Everybody loves the Patriots. But I'm just saying these athletes, they get in trouble. And to me, a suspension is like a slap on the wrist for doing drugs. If I went to work and I got caught doing drugs, there's a good chance I'd be fired.
Right.
Do you think that athletes – how you say should be able to go do drugs and then just get suspended and then just play like nothing happens?
No, because I don't really think they should be they have it where they're on probation. Like A-Rod, for example, was on probation when he did steroids last season. But no, I don't agree with the fact that they should just get a slap on the wrist, do your time, and then go play again. You should just you should do your time and then get suspended for a time. Then if you want to come back, you got to work your way back up.
Well, I feel you got to work your way back, but I feel if you get caught doing it too many times, you should be kicked out of the league.
Oh, yeah, but it's all about money, man.
Correct. It's about the American dollar.
It's more about the money than it is with the game.
But tell me this, Fred. What does that say to young kids who play in school, who play sports? It sends the wrong message.
It's saying,
idolize their favorite baseball player. They go to high school. They play they play softball. They play, they're like, well, if my favorite athletes can take steroids, why can't I take steroids? Right. And you see that in high schools where kids are taking, athletes of high school or middle school are taking drugs to enhance their game.
You're absolutely right. I mean, to even kick it back when we were kids, I know one of the things that the players used to do was chew tobacco. So when we were growing up, a lot of the kids in our generation would chew tobacco because this person from the New York Yankees or the Pirates or any sport really would chew tobacco just to act like them. But that's the kind of message that they're sending out to these kids. It's saying it's okay to go do this.
Exactly.
When it's really not.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, but yet they do it, and they go around saying, oh, I love the sport. You know, they have all these commercials, how they love the game or whatever. But my question to the audience is, do they really?
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think they do. You know, let's kick in another sport. You know, part sport, part entertainment. You have wrestling. Now, you have wrestling, even though it is part entertainment. Wrestlers, you know, you go from being a scrawny guy like myself to being this big, jacked up guy. And then they say, well, I don't use steroids. I just kind of, you know, work out a lot. I don't believe that. I mean, but once again, it's sending the wrong message because kids love their wrestlers. They love their, you know, entertainers. And they like, well, hey, maybe I should, if I want to, you know, you do college wrestling, high school mat wrestling. I need to beef up. What do? You take drugs.
Right.
You know, not knowing a lot of these kids don't even know the side effects.
I was just going to touch on that.
Go ahead.
They don't know the side effects because you could basically take a bunch of drugs and then be like out of it for days.
It's not just out of it. Everybody's different, and everybody's body takes
your mood
the drugs.
swings even.
Well, besides the mood swings, just in general, everybody body takes the drugs differently. You may take it and get jacked up and feel great. I may take it and I may become more angry than anything else.
Everybody's reaction to it is different.
Right, and you don't even know what kind of effects that it has. And the scary part is, if your body can't handle it, you know, it can kill you. Bottom line.
I know that you said it before, is it more about the game or the money? But my question to you, is it more about the passion for playing the game itself?
I think
rather than the cash.
I think it's the passion of the glamour and the fame from the sport. Because everybody wants to be a star. Everybody wants to, you know, be that next Michael Jordan or next Derek Jeter or Wayne Gretzky or, you know, or whatever. And that young kid's like, oh, I want that to be me one day. So they're willing to do whatever it takes. And not to mention, the adults don't always help that process. Because you have some parents out there that want their kid to be the next LeBron James and encourage the idea of drug use.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, my kid's not on drugs. They're taking a supplement of, you know, of vices to
I think that's like hiding the fact that they're taking stuff.
Exactly.
That one word, supplement, is hiding the fact that they're taking steroids. They're taking drugs to get
there's a way of they're going around the idea of I'm taking steroids, but they're instead of saying I'm taking steroids, I'm taking supplements. I mean, let's face it. Like you said, when we were kids, you don't have to just shoot it up no more. Now you can just take a pill that looks like an aspirin, and you could be taking steroids.
You know, my question to you is, can you get? And I don't know this personally, but I probably know that you can get this over the counter. Can you get steroids over the counter?
Most of the time, no. Not without a prescription from a doctor, no. But there are ways around it. I mean, okay, let's think about this. You're a young kid. You're about 16. You got a 21-year-old brother, sister, play sports in college or late high school years, you know, and they get some prescription from a doctor, or they know somebody illegally who can get it. There's ways that people get it, you know, and they go around and get it. I mean, steroids is no different than getting a street drug these days. You know, I know Steve and them talk about it on Students Telling It Like It Is with drugs. I mean, it's all over high school. I mean, there's not a drug that I don't know that you can get, but the sad part is sports is a secret way of covering up everything. It's a secret way of, for example, you can use sports to get out of class. Oh, I didn't do my homework because I was too busy with practice. But if you're that good of a player, the coach will vouch for you because they care more about you winning the game than they care about you getting the grade.
I remember in high school, if you were playing on a sports team, Dave, you had to keep a certain grade average. You had to keep a certain GPA in order to play. If you didn't keep that GPA, Dave, you were gone.
Well, just like when we were kids, the professional athletes had to keep a certain image. You know, because if one player's image affected the whole league of the sport. Now it's like, well, not every player, just that player.
Right.
So everybody should just not worry about it, and it was just him, and that was it.
But you know what that does, and it happens probably all the time on teams. You have that one player that does really good, and the coach is very, very fond of. You're playing favoritism towards that one player versus everybody else on the team.
I was about to say that, but you see that everywhere you go. I mean, it's just that player is the face of the team.
Yeah.
Or that kid is the face of this football team. But it shouldn't be about who's the better athlete. You should care about, as a professional coach, you should care. I always say when you're a coach, you're more than a coach. You're a mentor. Right. You're a teacher.
Yeah.
You're a father figure or a mother figure if we're talking about women's sports.
Right. WNBA.
Yeah, well, tennis, even female sports, but you're a mother figure as a coach. You're a mentor, like I was saying. And your job is to look out for the athletes, is to, look out for their health.
My other question is, since you brought up the fact of women, have you ever seen, women athletes take steroids?
I have never heard about it, but let's not get it twisted. I'm sure it's out there, but it hasn't been discovered yet because women are more known, or at least right now, they're known not to be taking sports. And going back to what you said about baseball kind of exploited it. So all the attention is on the baseball league, and then with the NFL having all their players going through this crime, and he got in trouble for this, and he got suspended for that, and he got arrested for that. It takes attention from the women's sports. But I wouldn't doubt that women, may be taking steroids. Now, I'm not out here trying to bash anybody about what you do. You do it if you have a medical reason why you have to take it, it's one thing. But if you're taking it just because you want to be better than the next guy, that's where I feel that is wrong. I feel any sport is a team sport. You never heard of the sport being a one-person sport with the exception of tennis. Yeah. Every other sport is a team effort. It takes a team to win championships. It takes a team to win a game. Yeah. I don't care if you're a hockey fan or baseball fan, a football fan, or basketball fan. It takes more than one player to win a game. And everybody as a team should work hard together. Why is it, Freddie, that you're on the team, I'm on the team, but I'm lazy, so you got to juice yourself up just because you may care about the sport, but you're juicing up because you don't want negative image on your team.
Right.
Because all the weight is on your shoulders of getting us to a playoff game, getting us to a championship game.
But my thing is I'm not making fun of A-Rod or Derek Jeter, but when you do things and don't do steroids, you gain that much more respect because you're going to a playoff game, you're going to a World Series game or a championship game in basketball.
And a lot of these athletes that go around and still want to be street life. I want to know why. You have billions, gazillions of dollars. You may have started there and playing on the blacktop or playing in the backyard. That's how you realize you had a talent. But, once you got out of that neighborhood, why would you want to go and do those kind of things? To put yourself behind bars, to lose everything you work for. Not only to ruin your image, to ruin the league's image, like we've been saying, and to basically end your own career before it's time. You want to go out and you want to make it to the Hall of Fame as a sports player. You want to go out and you want to have your legacy talk forever, even after you're no longer alive. You don't want the last part of your legacy and your image of you. Well, this player was a great player, but he, messed up, and now he's serving a 10, 20-year sentence and ended his career.
Right.
And
then if they screw up and do steroids or do drugs, it follows them.
For example, look at Michael Vick. Yeah. He did the dog fighting thing.
But you do. My point is, Dave, you have that one screw up, whether it's drugs or getting involved in illegal activities, whatever it may be. It follows you around because the media blows it up.
Well, exactly. You're a public figure, and how you carry yourself outside. I don't care if you're going out to eat as a star or an athlete. How you present yourself is how people are going to look at you. like I said, look at Michael Vick. Even though he was doing the dog fighting thing and it was in his own backyard or wherever, the fact is you're a pro football player. Even if he wasn't doing nothing, he was watching.
Right.
You made yourself look bad as a professional athlete. You know,
and he's still playing today, I think.
But that's what I'm saying. He brings all that negative attention to the league. He got hit with a slap on the wrist, and they let him play. Now that going back to what I was saying earlier, if that was us at a job, there's a good chance we wouldn't be
you
there.
having a job, we ain't gonna have a job by then.
Right. You know, but they go through all the legals, like, oh, there's a great player. But let me tell you, you know why? Well, because Michael Vick was known as a great quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, he played for the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, exactly. He was a star. But because of that, brought, for sports, I look at it like this. For them, it's like, and correct me if I'm wrong, negative publicity for them, I feel, is the same as good publicity. Because they like anything to keep just the sport in the paper. You're a great athlete, you do drugs, but you still bring media attention. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that they feed off that. Michael Vick, he was a great player, so they use that to make dollars.
Right.
So now it's like, well, I care about this. The whole league is thinking, well, we care about the sport, but look how much ratings we're getting off of this.
Why should your players' health care? Why should you care more about ratings than your players' health? That's putting your player at risk.
Well, it's putting your player at risk. It's putting your league at risk. But the common denominator, the money.
Well, that too, but it's also players' choice.
Well, think about it. He gets this image of this bad boy image, and you know now it attracts fans everywhere. Oh, he's a great player, and he's keeping it, as our title would say, he's keeping it real. You know, personally to me though, he's not keeping it real. He's basically
hiding behind.
He's embarrassing him or herself, and he's disgracing. He's disgracing little kids. He's disgracing, future athletes. Because so what? I'm gonna go and become an athlete and start dogfighting, and then I'm gonna say, well, I'm a great athlete, so give me a second chance. Let me play.
I mean, to kick it, I know that I only know baseball here, but I found out a couple months ago, actually a couple of years ago, that remember when they had the Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa home run bit, even though you're not a baseball fan?
I think I've heard something about that.
I found out a couple months ago that Mark McGwire did steroids while doing that home run race.
While doing the home run race?
Yeah. And he came on about it.
During the game, was he like going on the bench and like juicing up and then let me go hit another home run?
He admitted to that, yeah.
Wow. And what was the penalty for that?
I think he was suspended or I think he was done. He retired by then, but the point is like, now you come out after you're retired?
See? And he got paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
How about that? How about when they get in trouble, they, like you said, they get suspended, but they get paid.
Actually,
they get stupid paid, but they're on suspension. That's like it's like
that
a kid,
actually happened last season.
That's like a kid going to school, getting in trouble, getting suspended, and I'm still gonna graduate just because, even though I ain't even there.
Right.
Or your boss says, "Hey, you're suspended from work, but you're still gonna get paid." That once again, that says, "Hey, then what does it matter?" And let me tell you something. And these baseball players, you fine them $5,000? They don't care. These football players don't care. $5,000 is chunk change to them. While they're on suspension, that's like a mini vacation. They go and these athletes go and buy a car while they're sitting on vacation. So they get fined and they still get another check. That's appalling because I'm like, there's people out here that wish they can be them. There's young kids out here that one day hope to be them. And instead of being like, I'm an athlete and I worked hard and I earned this, oh no, I just did a little of this.
Yeah.
I did a little of that, and I didn't really care. They go around getting in trouble. Basketball players, go around getting trouble. I remember years ago, a basketball player named Allen Iverson. How you going to break in somebody's house? For what?
Well, I didn't follow.
Let me ask you something.
I didn't follow basketball back in 1990, but okay.
Even if you're not a big basketball person, you're a professional basketball player.
Yeah.
At that time, Allen Iverson was the man of the Philadelphia 76ers. Let me try to retract this. The fact is that Why would you want to break into somebody's house and you're a basketball player that gets paid billions?
My question to you is when he broke into the house, right? Did he steal anything?
Yeah. He got caught stealing stuff, got arrested, went to court, so he couldn't play a couple of games because he couldn't be there because of his court. But check this out. As an athlete, why he was going through the trial, whenever he didn't have to be in court, he was able to play the game. Now, what kind of punishment is that? He just brought bad image to the city that he plays for, the team that he plays for, and he can still play the game.
Like I said,
except for the days that he has to be in court, but the rest of the time he was able to play the game.
See, if that happened with me, I would have been like, "You're suspended indefinitely."
Exactly. Then these players today, they're spoiled rotten. They want more money on top of all the money they get. I think everybody sitting at home and all of us would be happy with just a contract we get to say we're getting paid that much money in general, even if we sitting on the bench. They cry about they need more money in their contracts.
Not even talk about, athletes, but they had Billy Crystal, who's a famous comedian. His one wish was to have a one-day contract with the New York Yankees. He played in like one game. It was a preseason game.
And did they pay him?
I don't think they did. They gave him a one-day contract, though.
But that was cool. But I'm talking about these athletes that get paid, and then they cry about they need more money. They don't need any more money.
You already have enough money.
You're a professional sports player. How much money do you really need? That's just straight being greedy. Like I said, look at Kobe Bryant. The Lakers basically gave up their draft pick so Kobe Bryant can get more money for him to be there for 2 years, even if it totally sucks. But because he can sell seats, they get they'll give him the money.
My other question is, before we wrap up here, is you have trades in the beginning of the season, right? And you get the AAA, the people up on the major leagues. They say, "Nah, I didn't take that. I didn't go with the New York Mets because they offered me $5,000. I want $10,000, so I went with this team."
Right.
You're getting paid either way. What's the point?
What I was getting ready to wrap up here, I feel personally that sports has become more about money, and more about publicity than it is about the love of the game itself.
Right.
With that said, Fred, do you have any final thoughts as we come to the end tonight?
I don't know, man. If you're playing a sport, play it for the love of the game, for the passion of you liking the game. Don't play it because of money, because in the end, it's not going to make you. Money can't make you happy. It could buy you things, but it can't give you happiness.
All right, well said. For me, I'm like this. Athletes all around the world need to understand that besides you, there are young people who want to emulate you and they're inspired by you and want to be like you. That's fine and all, but don't give them the image of taking drugs as a positive, because it's really not. So with that said, I'm David King.
I'm Fred Cilbrith.
Thank you for watching. Have a good night.